Jane has been on that kick for years, and I don't
Oh.
think she'll ever be off.
Oh my gosh. I just finished reading The Tattooist of Auschwitz. And,
Oh,
that was unbelievable. It's so
did you read Jackdaws?
I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar. That author.
Famous author. I'm just blanking. We just read it. He said, I think I had read it maybe 10 or 12 years ago, but I just read it again, and it was a good one.
I recognize the author name, but you know, David, it's terrible. Sometimes I might have read the book, but I am going through so many books now, and when I read books on Kindle, I don't remember them as well as when I read a book.
Yeah, yeah.
If they all start to blend together because they all look the same.
Yes, they do.
So
It's not like holding the book in your hand.
and seeing the cover every time you open it, and
Yeah.
I can go back in a book a lot easier. So yeah, it's a different experience. I have much more access to books than I did, you know, when I would go to because our library is very small and it's great. But so I do enjoy that, and right now I'm on a free trial Kindle Unlimited for 90 days, and you know I do that when they offer it, and then I just cancel it at the end and go back to my library. But yeah, another one of my favorite authors is Elizabeth Strout, and she did like the Lucy Barton and you know the Olive Kitteridge series. So I just read her latest one, Oh William. Oh my goodness. She just is she's so humorous about such serious topics. And so that was a good break from Auschwitz. And so my next one is Stephen King's latest book, because I've been a Stephen King fan for years. I love his books. So it's a good time of year to read Stephen King.
Absolutely. I'm not a particularly Stephen King fan, but
gosh. I started reading him when I was in college, and it's like, you know, just like an old friend, just visiting with an old friend, and just I always like the horror genre anyway. So
oh really? It's never really appealed to me.
I know it's a very unique little group, but I do I love it. So that's a good break from what I'm doing now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Good. Yeah, just busy, you know, aren't we all? It's yeah. Have you rented your place next door yet? I saw that you had that on Facebook.
You know, we our tenant decided to stay.
Oh, well, that's good news actually.
Well, if he can pay his rent. But he decided he didn't want to move to Florida, which is what he was going to do, because he had a really great job offer and making a lot of money down there, but he decided he just didn't want to move to Florida.
Really?
So we had put the ads in, and we had I think we had 5 people signed up to come and look at it, one of which we were really interested in, a woman with 2 cats.
Oh. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Good.
I know. I saw your pictures online, and especially the one on the porch, and I said, it just doesn't look right without Corey sitting there.
I know.
You know, oh my goodness, it just brought back good memories of coming in.
Oh, you know, it's been so hard. We really would like to have a dog, and yet we're reluctant to get a rescue because we've heard some bad stories. I know there are a lot of good ones too, but we just didn't feel like we wanted to have a bad one, and we're not feeling really up to doing a puppy. At least not a curry-sized puppy. So we have not gone ahead and gotten another dog.
We're in the same boat, David. I mean, you know, a part of it is that one of the dogs, what Ray was so attached to, and he still misses him terribly.
Yeah.
So he said, I don't want to go through that again. That's the stage of my life. And I said, well, maybe in time, when we,
Yeah.
it's a responsibility, and it's and my son just and his girlfriend just last year rescued a 15-year-old cat from the town. They couldn't stand to see her there, so they took her in, and they just had to have her put down. But he knew. He said, whatever she has left, she's going to spend it in a real home, not in a crate.
Oh, that's good.
And it was so. He said he would do that again.
Yeah.
That's an expensive proposition because the vet bills that they wrapped up before that. So it's a responsibility, whatever way you look at it.
Yes, it is.
But I miss having the dogs in the house, and
Oh,
we both do. It's just you come home and the tails are wagging and they're just happy to see you, and I say, oh my God, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
You don't have to go.
Not right now, no. Well, we always had dogs and cats.
I know.
When the kids were younger, especially.
Yeah.
And then after Marilyn died, I got a rescue, Riley from Georgia. And he was great. And, but then my daughter was living in the house with me. She had the farm in Preston. And then they moved the farm to Pennsylvania. And I know she was going to be so homesick. I let her take Riley with her.
Oh.
So that was quite a few years ago. That's like 5 or 6 or
Yeah.
gosh, probably about 8 or 10 years now.
So you getting another one, or you still?
Yeah, I kind of like to get one, but again, I'm not so sure I want a puppy.
Yeah.
Finally got the kids out of the house.
You need to go through all that training again.
Yeah, so I don't know. I do a rescue, yeah.
Well, you're a brave man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Riley worked out really well.
Yeah.
And he definitely is a farm dog, so he is much happier instead of my little 1 acre up in Preston, he's got 57. In Pennsylvania,
Oh,
he's
nice.
got 60 head of cattle to run around with.
Well, that's cool.
Pigs and
That's dog nirvana.
chickens and- yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah.
So,
No question.
why not?
I don't know. I actually, yeah. Yeah, just thinking about, I looked at the video, the last one, because none of us were here. And I think I kind of understood the yin and yang with the arms and legs and so forth. I still need to work with it because you really have to bring yourself into the present moment and work with your intention.
Yes. Well, let me do
Oh,
this.
go ahead.
So, the Ting Shaw likes your energy.
You like
It's nice to hear it because you don't hear it. On
No,
the
you
show.
don't.
No,
For some reason, that frequency doesn't come up on
it
the
doesn't
video.
go through.
No.
It doesn't.
No.
Nope.
And they're very good for calming people down too.
Mhm.
Better than the bowl, I think.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm very fond of the bowl,
yeah, me too.
but to work at it.
It has its limitations. I don't know.
So the thing about to begin with is to remember that in order to move the fascia, that you have to find first where the elbow connects to the scapula. And wherever that is, you have to maintain that connection all the time. So you can't let it collapse and extend it way out. You may have, you can have a range of movement because it can be the same distance from the scapula in a lot of places, but you can't do this or this, and in the case you've lost it.
Yeah.
And once you get that, then the real key to this is that the scapula moves your shoulder, and your shoulder moves your elbow, and your elbow moves your hand. So ultimately, your scapula is moving your hand. And you need that connection all the way from the spine to the fingertips, because that's what you're trying to do, is to get, and you need, if you're just doing a simple movement, you're trying to get the energy to flow out from the spine to your fingertips and to go back from the fingertips to the spine. It isn't easy. I'm not suggesting that it's easy. But then, of course, on top of that, once you just get a sense that you can feel the energy moving through that whole range, then you want it to come in the yin surfaces and go out the yang. And really, I mean, that's all the words about it. To my mind, that for me, one of the easiest ways is simply doing the Chansa Jen, because if we just do the dynamic sphere, we can just concentrate on one arm, so you don't have to be trying to feel what's happening in both arms, because in a lot of Qigong, we have opposite things happening in each side. And sometimes it's opposite here and opposite with the legs and the arms. So there's a lot of complexity to it that is very confusing to try to grasp all at once. So it's pretty easy, actually, with the dynamic sphere, if you find that connection, and you can find that connection right away, just standing. Where is that? It isn't here, because there's where I get the energy flowing into my arms, into my hands. And then it's just a matter of this, you're bending in, you're drawing the energy in the yin surface, and then sending it out the yang, and in the yin. And here, it's particularly the S curve to me is of course, the difficult part here, because where your elbow is has to maintain that connection. And I see it doing all kinds of things, but not that. And so you really have to pay attention to that, because that's the first key. It's not the whole thing, obviously. So you want to try this?
Sure.
Step out. And so, one of the things it might say is, to really think about what you're doing from the beginning. Because you're relaxed here at this point. But as soon as you begin to move, something's happening. And so to think about what is happening. So in the very beginning, the energy's perhaps coming in the yin surfaces and then going out the yang. And that's, find that connection. And then it's going to come in the yin as you sink and prepare to go into this. And then out the yang. Just hold at the top. And then coming in the yin. And out the yang. And back in the yin. So obviously, this is going right along with all the bend and stretch and lengthening we've talked about, because you're bent here, you're lengthened in here. The energy is coming in your yin surface here. And then you stretch, lengthen out the yang surface and bend. Yin, yin. Nothing else. Question there at all?
No, but I can definitely feel it when we do it very, very slowly like that.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is to remember that the whole movement is being driven by the legs and the dantian. So it's not an arm movement. That does a little, but not much. So it's really important to make that connection here too, in terms of the whole body movement, so that it really is the dantian that has brought that arm up and that brings it down without letting the torso collapse. And up. And in the yin. Up the yang. And yin. And don't let your other arm get limp and collapsed. Keep it alive. The energy is also moving through it. And just relax from the relief. Okay. So, a couple of things I noticed. One is it is extremely important not to collapse the midriff, because that just cuts the flow of the energy in the middle of the body. So it most often seems to happen when I'm coming through the S curve and I see the midriff collapsing. The body's moving, but the midriff collapsed. The midriff has to stay open. The other thing is to be really aware of the twisting, because that's an essential part. And so it's not sort of twisting. I saw sort of, that's too relaxed. That's too limp. It's sort of there. But it's important if you really feel the intention of that. Is the twisting really? And these things are all what go through all the parts of this practice and your Tai Chi. It's not, it's not limited to this.
No. Yeah, I have a tendency to collapse more than anything. I have to remember to keep the chin up.
Yeah. All those
All that stuff. It's like trying to hit a golf ball. You can't do it.
And so, of course, it goes right arm through, but gets much more difficult when we go into the single arm and the double arm. But as I have said before, as you go into those practices, you only want to focus on one arm at a time. And it could be either one. It doesn't always have to be, you're doing the single arm and it doesn't have to be this arm. It could be this arm, which has energy going out of the yang surface and in the yin and out the yang and in the yin. So it's in terms of practicing these things, you can do any part of your movement and focus on it. Any questions in there?
No. I can really feel it with my right arm, and then the left arm is like, wah.
Yeah, your left arm doesn't seem as active,
Yeah.
as present.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's there.
It's there, but it's just not part of the party yet, I guess.
Yeah. Well, but being aware of that difference is an important piece, because then you can begin to focus on that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to begin to move us into the left side.
Of the form?
Everything.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I figured that was coming one of these days.
For some reason, I had trouble following that on the video, doing the form starting from the left side. I've got to see this in person.
Well, it's true. I mean, but it is eventually, and with any form, a really important step to go to. So maybe if you came down here and I'll stay. I'll go up to that.
Sure.
So oh, you don't want to go over the chair?
We are on record.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. So stepping out with the left. And then turning right. Stepping 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, blah, blah. Right.
One more time.
What?
One more time.
One more time.
Yeah. I still haven't got
Where's your problem?
it. Oops. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with when the right hand gets involved somehow.
Ah,
No.
so, I don't know if that helps you see it sideways.
Yeah.
So, 8, 1, 2. So just as we had before, the right comes in with the rise 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now this is just like the left arm, turning left. 1, 2, 3.
That's it right there.
Yeah,
That's the part that I lose it.
everybody does.
That was the hard part when we were losing.
I know, it
we
was
were
hard
doing
enough
that,
going the other way.
when we were doing that.
Now I gotta go this way.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
because that S curve is just not as easy to see on that second part, you know.
Sure it is.
It's not as pronounced an S curve is. You know.
That's true. It's that S curve is flattened because of your rotation. But it needs to be present.
yeah.
Did that clarify that for you in terms of?
That's where I was losing it because I just couldn't make my hand go.
Where is that S curve actually going, David, in terms of the sphere? Is it coming through the center of the
Mhm.
sphere? So it's not going around the outside?
No,
and
no,
coming-
no.
Okay,
No, because you're extended, and it is, if I take the turning the body out, it is bending, 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 bending. And then up.
yeah. So it's really going more through the middle of the ball, rather than the. Yeah, this is flat, so that, you know, when I'm looking at that, it's
Yeah,
looking
it's
like
too
it's going
flat.
around the outside of the ball, but it's really not,
Through the middle.
through the middle.
You're always, yeah, the representation there is flat. You're working with a sphere. You're always working with a sphere. It isn't always the same size.
So what about on the other side then, is that when we're doing it with, you know, the first part of the movement, that's going on the outside of the, and then through the center, but in a different way than this one is.
So, This is around the outside,
on the outside,
and now it's doing the full through the center of the ball.
almost like the diameter of the ball, going through the diameter.
No, it's half of it. Half of the, when you're doing the outside, you're all the way to the outside of the ball.
Okay,
If you're doing the S curve, you're doing half of that.
half of that, so you're going from the middle
Mhm.
this way.
Yep.
Horizontally.
Well, on a diagonal.
Okay.
It's not-
Yeah, okay, yeah, through
Because I
the middle.
think your body's also going this way at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, that's why I couldn't quite get it.
That's what flattens it,
So
that's
the-
what kind of
yeah.
flattens it, yeah.
So the first one is easy because you're doing the full movement.
Right,
Right.
But when you get here, and it's really important that you're facing absolutely forward at this 6, so you have all your rotation, because you have to use your rotation to drive that movement. If you stop, it stops.
yeah, it's just, it's not following the same pattern as the other side, it's, do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
it is. Or do you mean it's the first one?
The first one,
The first, when you begin the movement.
right,
It's smaller, but it's the same S curve. It just appears smaller because of your rotation. It's the same S curve. The S curves are all the same. One goes this way and one goes this way, but they're all the same.
So the first one is not a bigger S curve than the second
It
one?
appears bigger. It appears bigger. See, that's the trick. Thank you, Master Joe. It appears bigger because you have the full movement. Okay?
Mhm.
But here, it would be just the same if your movement was like this. Okay?
Mm.
But it's not.
It's not.
It's not. But it's the same S curve. It just flattens it out because your dantian only goes in one direction. It collapses it.
Okay.
It condenses it is what it does. You guys haven't been in gods we get into condensing the energy, which is another whole level of practice. But what you're doing basically is you're condensing everything inside your body so that the movement is at least appears smaller, but the energy power is greater because you have condensed the energy in the movement.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know that we should worry too much about that right at the moment.
I know, I'm just
But I
working
was
on
trying
that.
to make sense of it for you
Yeah.
because I understand what you're saying. And visually, yes, if in the one you just were still, and then in the other one you were still and you did this, that wouldn't be right. That would not be right. Absolutely. But it's an invalid movement if your body isn't going. And secondly, you're doing two different things. In this one, when you got to here, you have all of this movement. But in this one, you have only this.
Right, it just goes.
Yeah, it's easier in the first one because the dantian is moving in the same direction.
Yes.
And that's what makes it difficult, that
Mhm.
you just start going in opposite directions, so. Okay.
You know, did you ever learn the 48 cluster Yang form?
Yeah, I don't think so.
You did, I know.
Yeah.
That has a retreating back fist. So that's what this is talking about. In the Wu Yuxiang style, we have a posture where we step back, we do a pull down, and then we embrace. And this is a push while you're going backwards. That's exactly what this is about. How do you use that energy of what appears to be opposite to power the forward movement? So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, it does, it does.
It's,
I don't think we had a similar movement in the long form that you taught at the senior center. I'm
No.
trying to think of an opposite, and I can't think of one.
no,
Okay.
it's not common. And Tai Chi is one of the few martial arts that it appears in. And you don't see a lot of it. And we don't do it in this 8-gate form either. So, but Master Joe wanted us to be prepared for
Just in case.
it. So we're gonna do this again.
Yeah,
Would
Yeah,
that be
that would be helpful.
okay? I'll begin stepping out. And then stepping forward. Remember what you're doing, David. Where are you? What are you doing? 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah? Show me. Don't kill us. And that one's turned out too much, so making it hard to rotate forward. Yeah.
That one.
So both of you are having similar problems on this side that I think you probably had previously. And that is, this practice is a place where we violate that rule that an arm doesn't cross the center line of the body, because it does for this. Okay? Which leads to greater arm flexibility, for instance, is one of its benefits. But that movement, that S curve with your right arm, you need to get across the center line of your body in order to go back to the other side for the rest of the S curve. If you get, what I'm seeing is you're getting maybe across or to the center, and then you're just sort of dropping down. Yeah. And it's got to continue.
I have to get there.
That's fine. I completely understand that. Believe me.
I'm just, because I'm trying to figure how that differs from this one. So this one, we're crossing the center line.
Mhm.
And it's here.
So one of the things, notice the angle of your body. It's here.
My
It's
body.
not here. So when you're doing that previous movement, you're not rotating all the way. You're kind of stopping part way.
Why don't you go through that again and stop me where I do that? because
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not sure where I see that.
Okay.
So, it's, oh, I forgot where it was. Here we go. Three,
4, 5, 6.
7.
Okay, there was no rotation in 7.
So 6, I was here. No, here.
Yeah.
So where do I rotate the 7 back?
So 6, notice that your body's on an angle at 6. It's not here. If you turn all the way here, you don't have any rotation.
Oh, okay. You know what? I was facing forward at 6.
Nope.
No.
6 is on an angle, so that as you do 7, you can turn and complete turning on 8. 7 and 8 have to rotate.
Okay.
But-
So 6 only goes to here.
Yeah,
And then it's
Turn.
8
Turn.
and forward.
7 is all the way forward, but only half turned from 6.
Oh, all right. So it's shift forward. 7 shifts all the way forward. Okay. So 6 is here. So 7 shifts forward.
And
8 is the turn.
no,
No.
7 is shift all the way forward, but also rotate halfway.
Oh,
And
wow.
8, because there's no place in this where your body is not rotating, or else your arms have to stand still.
Well, that's a small rotation then, because it's.
You got it.
Okay.
That's one of the things about this, is that you're constantly adjusting the proportions so that they are continuous.
6 was my biggest, because I was going forward, so you're
Yeah.
right, had no place to go. So 6. So 7,
Good. 8.
8.
Great.
Okay, yeah, that feels very strange. I have to practice that one a lot. 7, 8. And then I can just go back to 1.
Well, you have to go 1, 2, 3.
So if I'm back for 1,
2 keeps rotating.
Is there a rotation on one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So 1 and 2, interesting enough, are somewhat well like 7 and 8.
Okay.
There's 1 and 7 shift and rotate. 2 and 8 only rotate.
Only rotate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see a rotation there, Dave.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
No.
That's good.
I turned more on that, forget it. You just don't want to go on the side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, one's got to come in as the other one goes up.
Well, this at the very beginning, this one's playing over here,
Yeah,
but you're starting from here, left arm movement.
Yeah.
From here, sorry. Here, back, turn the leg, small rotation. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8.
So it's only at 8 that you're facing straight forward. Correct, or is that?
No, no. Well, you pass through it, but in a way you're right. 7, 8, 1,
And then you're back
2,
to, okay.
3. Body's facing straight forward, but the leg is on an angle.
So that you can shift.
4, 5, and 7, 8. Actually, yeah, looking just at the numbers,
Okay.
you are facing straight ahead on 3, but the leg is not.
I think that was what was kind of throwing off the rest of it, because I was facing too far forward on 6.
Yeah. Oh, well, that'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
takes some work.
Yeah.
I gotta work on
I have
this one.
to learn to reprogram my
Yeah.
thought. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So with the form on the left side, what was your issue? You said you were having.
Yeah, usually it's just a mirror image, and I don't know why. Could we go through it once?
Sure.
You just
Absolutely.
doing it on the and I think
Do you want to see me or just follow?
I'd like to kind of watch you do it once and
Sure.
then follow you.
Sure. So, well, we'll do the left side. So the only difference is the ward off.
Okay.
So the ward off is different. So when when you get to 7, 8, the transition is you go on 1, you go clear back to 100%. I can't do this. I can't jump into the transition. Forget it. I just realized I couldn't do that. So you're here, you come back to this. You're going to go to ward off left and then roll back. And push down a bit. And then press forward. And
Okay. So it's really just almost like the mirror image of the
it's exactly the way, except for ward off left. The only difference.
which in the form, ward off left is different from ward
Yeah,
off right.
yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's depending on which form you do, I guess.
Uh,
So in this form, can you just show the difference between ward off left and ward off? Because
Sure.
I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference. So,
Really?
Hello.
Watch this. Ward off right.
okay.
Left.
So ward off right is up higher.
Up here, and it's
It's
a
a little
rising
higher.
posture.
It's a rising posture, and ward off left is in this one. So hand is at heart level and pantheon level.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's actually probably above down here level.
So
Did
it's-
that,
it did, yeah, yeah. I mean, the hand movements are similar. It's the positioning of
well, yeah, they're similar, except that with ward off right, for one thing, you're sinking, yeah, it's rising, and the left arm is pulling back from the right at the top. And in ward off left, the left is going out and the right is pushing down, period.
that, okay. Now, yeah, okay, I remember that now from, it's been a while since we
Yeah.
did the form.
Uh-huh.
So in ward off left,
Huh?
is the palm facing down?
No, this,
It's facing up.
facing
toward-
you.
Facing me.
This palm
Palm
is facing down.
up. Yeah, okay.
So this is palm, ward off energy. This is on, this is pushed down,
Mhm.
actually. If we get into the specifics of the energy, there are lots of it. But, and that's the difference in ward off left. But in ward off right, you have the same thing in that we have palm and on.
Right, okay.
And it's important in this connection, just a physical connection that will help you is to get the fingertips to be extending towards the index finger of the right hand, because then the energy will connect between them.
But the right hand is the one that's palm facing you, and the left is.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
With elbow down.
the elbow down.
Ideally, I tend to be a little high. It really should be not more than about 45 degrees.
And that's more at like, okay,
Throat level,
okay, throat, not heart level, throat level.
throat level. This is heart level.
Okay.
This one is throat level. Okay. And that's the big difference, other than being near.
So this one, when you had shown us the Marshall application, I mean, this was the one where you were grabbing the opponent, right, by the,
Well, what this is indicating is probably an arm break, an elbow break. So in other words, you would be actually, you would probably be doing this.
okay, yep,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Only this would be this way.
Yep.
I'm not. I'm not proficient as the martial artist, I will admit, but
no, but I can, okay, so,
Yeah, I can see that.
that and like a lot of the of all styles of Tai Chi, the posture in the form is just indicating what the application is. It's not, you're not doing anything up here. You could be.
Yeah.
You could be attacking with this hand and deflecting with this one. I mean, that's a possibility. But that would be pretty rare to be in that position.
yeah. Unless you had an opponent a lot
Somebody
taller
who's
than
coming
you.
in high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or a big guy
Yeah.
with a,
yeah,
yeah,
well, I like if somebody's got a knife or something.
Yeah.
Coming in, you wanna.
so the water off, right, you can see, because that leads pretty naturally into the, you know, into the ball and then bringing around. So when you do the ward off left, how does that transition into, can you just show us that from the, so you're doing, so now you're doing, okay, oh, that's right, because now you're going from the left to the right,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Let your body do that.
So,
You know, the difficulty with this is you have to think to get yourself aligned with where you want to be and what you want to be doing. But on the other hand, you have to let go of thinking in order to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
after a few repetitions, I can
Yeah.
do that, you know, it's,
Yeah.
I really have to think it through what I'm
You
doing,
do,
you know,
you
get the
do.
choreography down and then just let it.
Yep.
Let it take
Yeah,
over, yeah,
after a while, the muscle memory takes over.
yeah, because when we did the ward off right, you know, the hands were positioned, so one hand could go above and one below the
Yeah.
ball, that just felt very natural. That's what I couldn't see, you know, happening on the video.
So if you remember, actually in Master Joe in talking about food energy, the word rollback energy, which is what that is. He said if you start with a little bit of pump, it causes your opponent to exert force, and then you can easily control it. And so that's exactly what's happening here, whichever one it is.
Mm.
You're doing a little bit of yang, a little bit of pum, and then you're doing the, and you're absorbing his energy and redirecting it.
Just, yeah. Okay.
Happy to.
Can we do it together?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
let's
Yeah,
practice
yeah.
that.
We can. We can. In Tai Chi, addressing the earth. Stepping out with the left. Then forward. Ward off. Rolling back. Push downward twice. Press forward. Shoulder. Let's see body. Elbow. Forward. Split.
I know, I wanna start doing it just the
I
opposite
know,
way, like
that's
I
what
see
I'm
it.
Go to short circuit and then everything shuts down.
Yep, yeah.
It's like, what?
Let's see where we are here. Oh, we've got some time here yet.
Yeah, I think we could use a couple repetitions
Yeah,
of that.
I think so too. It's-
I got to do the first two and then I started this way with.
Yeah, that's what-
On
oh
this
my
side.
God.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay,
So, yeah, go ahead. Couple more times.
couple more times, right down the floor. And begin with Tai Chi. Pressing the empty heel out. In the center. Stepping forward with the left. Ward off that. Hold that. Push forward. Press. Change it. Either let's see back. Above. Split. And transition. Forward off left. Push down. Press. Hold that. Open. Split. Hold that. Push. Forward off left. Roll back. Push button. Deep. Forward. Cow forward.
I gotta work on
You know
that.
where I kind of lose it with
Yeah,
Middle.
needle, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I can get it up until, you know, the press, and then the shoulder strike, that's right, I'm putting the wrong shoulder out, I want.
yeah, that's what I did. And as soon as you do that, it all goes down.
Yeah, that, it's when we get to that one and then the needle at C bottom, that seems, you know,
Well, if you remember, when you do shoulder, if you get the right shoulder forward,
that, yeah,
that the shift forward swings the right arm up. Right. And that tells you what's gonna. So this can boom,
Yeah.
and now it comes back. Yeah.
yeah, my feet were not doing the right thing, you know,
Yeah.
I was, so when you're at press, how do you transition from press into,
Push.
into,
Or you
I
do
mean,
push,
push into,
press,
into shoulder straight, yeah.
No, you go from, okay, so you're in push here.
You're in push, right?
And here
Oh,
we're
right,
gonna do
okay, all right.
press.
And that's,
Now, shift forward, separate the arms,
okay,
reset the foot,
that's what I was,
turn and step forward into your opponent
okay,
and shoulder.
okay, so that's, and then from there,
Shift forward,
once
forward,
we sword
sword
fingers,
fingers, go back and down, left to the wrist, up,
up,
reset the foot.
Yep.
Counterclockwise.
it's, okay, that's it. And then it's, but it's those two, yeah, it's going counterclockwise.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
was- I was
Started
doing
going
the
this
opposite,
way.
yep.
Nope.
Should- I know,
Okay.
just do everything that's not,
That feels.
yeah,
Yeah.
feels counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
And you just have to do it and do it. And
Yeah,
do it
yeah.
till-
Yeah, till you kind of let go of the other
yeah,
Yeah.
habit.
again,
Yeah, I'm not sure that it all came out on the recording though, David, so. could you-
Oh.
Could you do one, like, so that the recording picks it up and then that
want
way?
me to face it?
Yes.
I think so, yeah, yeah.
I gotta-
So if you face it though, should we have them do it mirror image so we can do it at home or?
I'm okay either way.
Okay.
I just, because I can't see your hands from where I'm back here. I think
I'm sure that.
Okay.
that's helpful.
So you know what, I'm gonna go on this side.
Maybe I'll do both.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, so,
So, I'm gonna do the right foot forward first,
okay,
okay?
Yeah.
So stepping out.
Yeah.
Turn. Step and ward off right, rising. Roll back. Push down. Keep. Shoulder. Needle. Elbow strike. And then split.
that was, it seems so easy compared to the other. Yeah.
It is easy compared to
Oh,
the
yeah,
other
okay.
right now. But you step out with the same foot in the afternoon. So stepping out with the left. And going forward with the left. And ward off left. Roll back. Push down. Press. Shoulder. Needle at C bottom. Elbow strike. Yay.
It's funny how some are just so much easier to reverse than,
Yeah.
it's, as you said, Dave, it's the counterclockwise of the
Yeah.
needle at C bottom, but
Yeah.
it's also the shoulder strike, I had my hands in the wrong, I had my arms in the wrong direction, so.
Yep.
It's much easier when I can follow, so I think that would be really helpful on,
Yeah, for sure.
oh my goodness.
That would be good.
But you know, when I was learning the other side of the long foot, it would happen to me all the time. You get, halfway to the way through, and it's like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? And I'd have to stop, do it the first way, then I could do it the second.
Mm,
But you tend to
Yeah.
revert back, you revert back to what's
Yeah.
comfortable and what's already programmed.
Yeah.
Right.
So, So,
And then you get to where you're not just doing it by rote, you're paying attention to where you are in the present moment.
I do have to get those movements down first though, so that
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think about the
Oh, yeah.
movement.
So, yeah, because if you think about it, then
Yeah.
it goes
Yeah.
out the window.
Right.
It's like doing the long form and then watching somebody next to you. That's the kiss of death.
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's all.
So when you eventually go through the form, right now, we just, if we start out on the right, you just keep transitioning and keep going on the right. Is there a point where you go right to left, to right to left, or no?
You can do that, or you can do a given number of right and then do a given number of left,
Okay.
which is the easier way,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I would think
one
so.
transition. But it's ultimately, it's probably a better practice to go right, left, right, left, right.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Because then you don't think about it. You just,
And you can kind of do that with the single arm practice, but it's really hard with the double arm.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much have to just do each side of that.
I do, I only do, you know, several with single, several with the right, then the left. I have to start.
Yeah.
Kind of go across the room, doing it one way and come back, doing it the other
That's
way.
fine.
So, yeah.
Good.
Because I think that's exactly what would happen. I would find myself halfway through reverting back to the one that I'm the most comfortable with.
yeah,
You
yeah.
do, particularly if you're thinking about it.
You fall into old habits.
Yep.
Wow. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This isn't right.
Good, thank you.
Oh, thank
Thank
Good
you.
you.
class, you guys.
Yeah,
Well, we're working on it.
Well, yeah, it feels like some clarification was accomplished.
definitely. And that was helpful having that. I can go back because I'm definitely gonna have to refer back to the recording to,
Okay.
to do this form.
All right. There's something to work on.
Oh, yeah. There's always something to work on.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Did the hunters walk in Orangetown Friday?